Thanks for joining us on this edition of National Focus. I'm Jarna Hector. Coming up, China's Red Cross organization donates US $30,000 to Red Cross Dominica. The Prime Minister questions the UWP's opposition of the CCJ, and GIS brings you an inside look at government school feeding program.
Dominica is blessed with an abundance of water, but getting it to your home is an expensive venture. You have a responsibility to conserve water, to use it wisely. Remember the old adage, you never miss the water till the well runs dry. Think water, think life.
Thank you for staying with us. On Monday, GIS News met with the coordinator of government school feeding program, Pamela Geist, to get an inside look at the workings of the program. Currently, parents and students of 30 primary schools across the island are directly benefiting from the convenience of the initiative. The coordinator explained exactly what the program entails.
The school feeding program is one of the support services that has been established through the Ministry of Education to provide a meal for children at the schools, not necessarily needy children. The school feeding program is open to every child at the school, and it's not a program where there is chance for creating any stigmatism or being associated with people of low socioeconomic situations. You will find that when we introduce a feeding program to a school, we tell the parents, in fact it is discussed at PTA meetings, so we tell the parents that this program is actually for the benefit of every child at the school.
According to Geist, the program, as it is known currently, began in 1996. However, the concept existed on a smaller level for years prior.
Initially, the feeding program started in 1991, although there was a pilot program before that was funded by a Dutch agency, and that program went on for about 4 or 5 years in the 80s, mid-80s. And after that program was closed down, the World Food Program was establishing programs, school feeding programs throughout the world. And of course, they came into the Caribbean where they found it was necessary to start some programs. And Dominica, of course, benefited. When World Food pulled out because it was supposed to have been a 4-year program, Dominica was blessed in the sense that we were able to linger it until a 5th year. And after that, we were supposed, as a country, to continue the program on our own. Many of the islands were not able to continue, but Dominica was able to really stretch all the funds that we had, went through a lot of challenges, but then we never did, stop the program.
From then until now, the program has come a long way, from 22 schools in 1996 to 30 today, all sponsored and coordinated by government. Geist described the process of selecting schools for enrollment.
One of the things that we looked at in terms of the criteria for the school feeding program was schools that had a great distance from the community. You see a typical case in point, like the Carib Territory, for instance. The Carib Territory is a very, it's like Siniku, or you look at Salibé, the areas there are very wide, and the children have a long distance to walk to school. Another case is Delices. You know that Delices school is the last thing way down close to the White River down there, and then the children have to walk great distances. So schools like that were given priority.
While the school feeding program receives non-governmental support from a small number of wholesalers, parents, and private organizations, Geist says parents could contribute more. As it stands, the cost of the school feeding program to parents is $1 a day per child.
When I meet with PTAs on a regular basis, I encourage the parents, those who are into fishing, those who are into farming, and even the parents who do not necessarily have big vegetables or, gardens with lots of provisions and stuff like that, but we encourage them even from their backyard gardens, whatever it is that they are planting, whether they can bring in some into the school for the feeding program. Of course, we are prepared to purchase some of it. But one of the things that we are saying, because the children are required to just pay a small fee per day of $1, what we are saying to parents is, you may not necessarily have the $1, especially if you have 2 and 3 children at the primary school benefiting from the program. What we do is you can make contributions in kind. And if it means that it's 2 dry coconuts you bring in for the sandwich, if it's some tomatoes you bring in for the salad, some green seasonings, because other than that we would have to purchase those things.
The approximated cost of the school feeding program runs over $200,000 annually. The coordinator says despite the cost and challenges, the alternative in the absence of the program is much worse.
What is going to happen is you do not have the feeding program. The children are going to leave school every day, walk home distances. Sometimes they may not necessarily find lunch at home. And if it's a case like that, the children would stay home instead of coming back to school. In that case, their learning is, deficient. They may not necessarily be catching up with all of the classes and the lessons. Sometimes the children come to school without any breakfast. They come to school without any lunch. Some of them who do come with some lunch sometimes is really, you can compare it with almost nothing and that lunch, apart. So the feeding program has met its objectives in terms of making the children, or allowing the children stay in school under supervision, where they have a hot, nutritious meal, and they can continue immediately, in the post-lunch period, the sessions, that they can follow up with the classes again.
We'll bring you more about government school feeding program in Wednesday's newscast. Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit has dismissed as laughable comments by the United Workers' Party candidate Thompson Fontaine regarding Dominica's move to the Caribbean Court of Justice. In a recent interview with the Caribbean Media Corporation, UWP's election candidate Dr. Thompson Fontaine stated that Dominica is not ready for the move. He said, quote, "We don't believe it should have been done. There are still a lot of questions about the judiciary and the ability of our own people to preside over themselves," end of quote. However, Honorable Skerrit in a recent interview expressed his confidence in the ability of qualified Caribbean nationals to handle the affairs of the region.
What is the UWP's opposition to the court? They have not given you any reasons to the courts as to why we should not go. The only thing he said, Thompson has said, is that we are not ready as a people to oversee our own affairs. Now, is this somebody who is aspiring to be a leader of a country or in government saying that the Caribbean people are not mature enough, are not intelligent enough, are not capable enough to manage their own affairs? Then let us go back to our pre-independence period. Let us ask England to become our masters again, if we're not able to manage our own affairs. And in the Caribbean, we have some of the brightest judges and lawyers you can find anywhere in the world. So Dennis Byron has sat on many UN tribunals, many courts in Africa, for example, courts established by the UN. We have Caribbean jurists sitting on the ICC. I mean, on many international legal tribunals because of their qualifications, because of their experience, and because of the judgments that they've received.
The Prime Minister also added to that list individuals such as Dr. Liverpool and Justice Georges of Dominica, who he said are world-renowned and well-respected jurists. On the matter of the CCJ not being a topic of discussion in Dominica, Honorable Skerritt highlights that talks about the move have been ongoing since 2000 and have been in the past supported by the opposition United Workers' Party.
This discussion has been around since 2000, well, way back then when the court was being established. We went to Parliament in 2005, thereabout, to 2005-2006, to debate Dominica's accession to the courts. The opposition was led at the time by Mr. Williams, who supported the court, and we had discussions following that in the Parliament too. And the UWP has always indicated their support for the courts and so forth. The issue that we have not consulted people is an untruth. We have had several consultations far and wide on the courts. The president of the court, Mr. Dennis Byron, has been in Dominica to speak about the courts to the private sector. I have written to the private sector, all the private sector groups, all the unions, seeking the views on Dominica's accession to the court in its final jurisdiction. Dominica has been a signatory to the courts.
The Honorable Prime Minister believes that the court is the best move for Dominica and, among other benefits, will give citizens more affordable and ready access to justice. Prime Minister Skerritt says the opposition's comments only prove the flippancy of the party.
It tells you that the UWP is bereft of ideas. They are jumping like jumping jacks all over the place. Today they support something, tomorrow they oppose it, and the next day they have something new to talk about. So it is clear that they don't understand these things. And Thompson, who has not worked in Dominica for the last 30 years, and who appears to be not using his PhD in any sensible way, clearly continues to demonstrate his ignorance of the laws and the Constitution and the way of life of us in Dominica and in the Caribbean.
The matter of the adoption of the new Caribbean Court of Justice as Dominica's final court of appeal will be discussed in the next sitting of Parliament. In other news, a community emergency response team training program got underway in the village of Castlebruce on Monday evening and will run over the next few weeks until February 25th. The training program is designed to provide an opportunity for communities to become more self-reliant in case of emergencies. 30 participants between Castlebruce and Petite-Soufrière will be subject to 50 hours of training in diverse subjects including search and rescue, basic firefighting, disaster medical operations, and personal safety equipment. The training will also cover topics such as disaster management and disaster response operations, incident command systems, leadership and team dynamics, among other modules. This is the first time that this program is being done at the community level and is being facilitated by a local team of instructors led by Deputy Fire Chief Anthony Williams. The program enables the development of multifunctional response teams whose members can give critical support to emergency services and provide immediate assistance to victims. The training program is being made possible through the Office of Disaster Management with support from the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, CIDEMA, and other partners. A similar training program will get underway in the community of Capuchin from March 10th. A US $30,000 donation from the People's Republic of China's Red Cross to the Dominica Red Cross means relief for those affected by the December trough system. On Monday, the Red Cross Organization of the People's Republic of China handed over a check to the administration of Dominica's Red Cross at its local office. The brief ceremony was opened by Director of Dominica Red Cross, Kathleen Pinat-Byrne, who gave a background for the donation.
Today, we are here to witness the true humanitarian bond which exists between national societies of the Red Cross of China through the Embassy of the People's Republic of China, who is here to hand over a donation of $30,000 to the Red Cross of Dominica towards its recovery efforts.
Representing the People's Republic of China was Councillor Wang Zhaoseng, who first conveyed on behalf of her country sympathy and humanitarian support for Dominicans affected by the disaster. Councillor Zhaoseng described the relationship between the two countries as a good enough reason for the $30,000 donation.
China and Dominica are friendly countries. Since the establishment of diplomatic relations 10 years ago, the cooperations in every field between China and Dominica has been going on smoothly. And we are partners supporting each other in the international arena. Mutual communications between the peoples of our two countries is increasing in the recent years, and understanding between each other and friendship among the peoples are deepening day by day. China is a country with a huge population and a vast geographical area, but China is still a developing country. We are facing a lot of challenges and difficulties in the process of constructing China. Also, we feel the same when we see our friends, brothers and sisters in Dominica facing the challenges and difficulties.
The councillor went on to explain that the government and people of the People's Republic of China are pleased by demonstrations of government's determination and the resilience of Dominicans. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Helen Royer, represented government and had the privilege of saying thank you to the Red Cross of the People's Republic of China.
On behalf of the Ministry of Health and the Government of Dominica, I would like to express our heartfelt and sincere gratitude to the Dominica Red Cross Society of China through the Embassy of the People's Republic of China for their kind donation of US $30,000 to the Dominica Red Cross as humanitarian aid for post-flood relief and construction. The disaster caused by floods in December 2013 led to unprecedented infrastructural damage to some parts of the country, which necessitates prompt interventions. I am confident that the Dominica Red Cross Society will make very good use of this money gift, and the recipients of this donation will be happy. The Ministry of Health and the Government of Dominica will continue to cherish the friendly relation that exists between the peoples of the Republic of China and Dominica, and remain grateful for the continued support in addressing the needs of the country, especially in the time of crisis when we are most vulnerable. Councillor Wong, please convey our heartfelt thanks to His Excellency.
On that note, the councillor voiced her country's support for continued partnership with the island.
I would like to reiterate that China will stand together with our brothers and sisters in Dominica and give its full support as usual. It is our firm belief that through the combined efforts of the people in Dominica, Dominica will overcome the difficulties and get its final victory.
Prime Minister of Dominica, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, has repeatedly spoken of the valuable friendship between the People's Republic of China and Dominica. That relationship officially began 10 years ago. During his recent visit to the community of Grand Bay, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit made a special call to the Lechelle preschool. There he made a promise to the principal and staff to make a financial contribution to meet the cost of salaries for the teachers and to help equip the school with stationery and other supplies. On Monday, February 10th, less than 2 weeks after his promise, the Honorable Prime Minister, through Parliamentary Representative for the Grand Bay constituency, Honorable Justina Charles, kept his promise and made an initial contribution of EC $3,000. Honorable Charles, in presenting the check, said that this commitment to the Lechelle preschool signifies government's continued efforts to ensure universal childhood education.
This is government's way of ensuring that we have universal early childhood education, because we know that you started your school quite some time now, over 20 years, and it has been a challenge for you to pay yourself and to pay the students, because parents, some of them are financially challenged and not able to pay the school fees, which is minimal of $50 a month, and some of them are not able to pay the school fees. And so because of that, you find it challenging to be able to earn some money for to meet your own needs and for the helpers who are there with you. And so it is government's way of saying we want the students to continue to come to school. We want the parents to ensure that the children come to school. And so to avoid making finance a reason for deterring and keeping the children away from school, the Prime Minister has agreed and he promised, and he's keeping up to his promise today by making available the check of $3,000.
Honorable Charles, however, stated that this and future contributions should not serve as a deterrent for parents to neglect their responsibility of paying school fees for their preschoolers. She says this assistance is in an effort to ensure the survival of the school.
I also want to encourage the parents who have the students at home, the preschoolers at home, and are not going to school. I think they should come, speak to the teacher, speak to me, and let us see how we can accommodate them at the school. Now we are preaching universal early childhood education. We think no child should be left at home from 3 years. So we're encouraging those who are not able financially to bring the children to the school. Come talk to the teacher, and you will work out a payment plan as to how you can meet the minimum of maybe $25 a month.
A very emotional Luce, principal of the Lachelle preschool, could not find words to express her gratitude.
God was the one who sent them, because I've been struggling. Ever since I earned this school, I've been struggling. It was a struggle. This check will help. Help with pay the teachers, pay myself, because ever since I owned the school, not here, not over there, I never got any salary. I've never gotten anything, nothing at all. I want to thank Honorable Justin and Honorable Skerritt again for presenting this check of $3,000. Once again, I want to thank you.
The students too got the opportunity to say thank you in song. Here's an important announcement from the Housing Division. The following individuals or their representatives are asked to call in at the Housing Division, now located on the middle floor of the old DBMC building, as soon as possible. These persons are Virginia Scotland, better known as Rosanne Scotland of Castle Bruce, Leandra Walsh and Patrick Walsh of Focolay, and Lionel Geist and Marianne Geist of Yander. And that's the English segment of National Focus. McPherson St. Luce brings us the Creole highlights next.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non, moi, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt, qu'a tient commitment gouvernement assister l'école Négion Lachelle en Guambé. Premier ministre Skerritt fait promettre assister management l'école Salam pendant une délégation gouvernement qui visité constituency Guambé semaine passée. Gouvernement tient commitment Salam ou la même parlement Honorable Justin Charles a ce compte gouvernement présenté $3,000 pour maîtresse l'école Salam l'année. Selon Honorable Charles, gouvernement can recogniser l'éducation des enfants bien important et puis challenge unique, raison pour one c'est pour ça. Il dit à ce compte gouvernement comme parlement est bien content pour faire donation ça. Maîtresse l'école la fait parole comment il bien honoré pour recevoir l'argent là. Et aussi oui merci gouvernement pour donation ça. Maîtresse là aussi qui a ses parents pour apprécier donation là au gouvernement et puis aussi pour supporter l'éducation des enfants à yo. La nouvelle étudiant qui a bénéficié de votre programme où là vous tapé manger en l'école, vous tapé bon avis consommer manger local. Avis ça là sorti votre coordinateur programme là Pamela Geist aussi qui encourage les parents aider et puis programme là.
C'est le problème nous ni c'est assez power pas qu'à venir et c'est maman là esprit c'est maman là pas qu'à venir aider quand yo te commencé avant les nous premier te commencé programme là yo pas qu'à venir aider nous comme des parents pour venir comme si ou pas ça pon tout chalet devant stove, mais ou ça venir vers ou ça ende laver ces chaudières là, laver ces assiettes là, c'est les à manger. Et autant fois nous quand ni pewan qui rester à caille, yo ka assis la ka regarder TV, et yo pas ka venir ende. Ini sa pewan qui kan di like depuis yo voye ses enfants, yo obligé ba yo manger. Mais bah là c'est Ministry of Education pas vle affilier koi eve en l'école les new feeding program eve enfants ka rester faim. So nous ka make sure na nous basse les gars ça la manger même si nous savent qui parents yo pas ka ou savent take on responsibility yo.
La nouvelle carte d'identité qui ça servi pour plusieurs d'autres bagailles on dit pour voter. Parole ça sur le chef officier élection Steven Larocque. Larocque fait parole qui 4 salam qui aussi faciliter citoyens ou ICS voyager et puis il aussi fait parole qui y a travail et puis sécurité sociale qui déjà montré l'enterré ou placé et puis d'ailleurs Larocque aussi qui fait parole qui 4 salam qui facilite moun présenter différentes manières d'identification et spécialement en institutions comme banque et d'autres occasions. Il dit que 400 là qui meilleure manière pour identifier au monde. Le gouvernement Dominique déjà dépensé 2,4 millions de dollars à ces 4 là. Et puis finalement, management Solid Waste Dominique a créé à ce public là pour déposer les aïeux à de manière qui tient environ bien propre. À Walsala qui a sorti officier relations publiques, M. Jarna Jacob.
Et puis nous avons dit que ce carnaval, certains qui n'ont pas disposé de à sous territoire en Jarna, mais il y a 60 adoptable block bins. Et puis nous avons dit pour mettre les ordres en ces bins là, personne qui ont ouvert pour voir qui a détruit ces bins là, parce que ces bins là, c'est ça nous, Dominicains. C'est pas ça le gouvernement, c'est pas ça Solid Waste, mais c'est ça nous, tout Dominicains là, nous avons servi à Véroso.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle créole pour à présent. Non, moi c'est McPherson, St. Luce. Au revoir.
Find out why we should accept people as they are coming up next.
Together we build, together we strive. We see it all on your Government Information Service, Channel 7. This is the Government Information Service, bringing you all that you need to know about all that's happening in your country's development. GIS, you and your channel.
We all know we should accept people as they are, but is there a good reason to do so? Research shows that you experience greater personal growth when you do. When you accept others, your focus changes from them to you, which allows you to work on fostering your unique skills and talents, as well as improving your shortcomings. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and your comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Friend us on our Facebook page and be sure to like our GIS Dominica fan page. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. From all of us here on the GIS News Desk, thanks for watching and join us again next time on National Focus.